In an ideal world, we'd all have a soundproof drum studio with an unlimited amount of time to practice, but for most of us, that's not the case. Maybe you travel, maybe you work a lot and have commitments that stop you practicing, and your drums just sit there gathering dust. Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you 5 different ways that you can practice the drums without being at the drums. Instruments such as piano, guitar, and even bass, they're tactile instruments. You need to touch them to practice them. In my head, I'm a pretty incredible air piano player. But the great thing about the drums, and one of the many reasons I love them, is that you can practice them anywhere as long as your arms and feet are still attached to your body. The edge of your bed, a pillow, an old pizza box, even your hands and knees, they're all practice pads and places that you can practice. Now, some stuff we can't practice like this. We can't really work on our flow around the drum set. We can't really work on our dynamics. But we can definitely work on sticking patterns, rudiments. You can even work on grooves and entire songs. True story, I went to college with a guy who had never owned a drum kit and only ever practiced on the edge of his bed and in rehearsal rooms, and he was pretty badass. Next on our list is to watch YouTube videos. Not cat videos, not goats on trampoline videos, but drumming videos. I've learned so much by watching my favorite drummers, as well as discovering a whole heap of new players that end up becoming my new favorites. There is a difference between casually watching and actively watching though, and it's really important that you actively watch these videos so that you can pick up the most information that will impact your playing the most. When I'm watching a video, I generally look for 4 different things. Gear. What gear are they using? Anything unusual that I could experiment with myself? How do they set up their drums? How do they tune their drums? And from a purely geeky point of view, what brands are they playing? Because I'm really into that sort of stuff. Ergonomics. I also look at the setup and the way they sit at the drums. How do they move around the drum kit? How do they just hit the drum? In what position, in what place, and with what velocity? For this, I find it really useful to actually just mute the video so you can focus on what you see and not what you hear, because the drums can be pretty distracting. Creative ideas. I also listen out for any licks or chops or ideas that I could borrow, and if I find something I like, I'll just take a note of that timestamp so I could revisit it later. Dynamics. I also listen to the dynamics of their playing. How do they use the different tones of the drum? What is the dynamic difference between their loud notes, their accents, and their soft notes or their ghost notes? So now it's your turn. I want you to pick your favorite drummer and your favorite video of that drummer and start taking some notes on these 4 different topics. See if anything new pops out, see if anything exciting pops out, and if you find a lick that you like, take a timestamp. The more you do this, the easier it becomes, and the more you become switched on when you're watching other drummers play, whether it's live or on video. Now, when was the last time you listened to music? Seconds, minutes ago, right before you put on this video. When was the last time you really listened to music though? Now, in the same way that when you watch a video, it can be passive or active, when you listen to music, it can be passive or active. And when I'm listening to music properly, when I'm really trying to analyze it and trying to understand what the drummer did, I'm listening for 3 different things. I'm listening for feel, dynamics, and choices. Shaping the feel of a song is what a drummer does. So I'm listening out for the right hand pattern. What are they playing? Is it ahead or behind the beat? Does that change throughout the song? And what do those choices do to the music? For dynamics, I'm looking at the way that the drummer changes dynamics throughout the entire song. This can be literally how loud they're playing in a certain section versus a quiet section, but it could also be little nuanced parts like a hi-hat accent or a bell in a certain place. Finally, and most importantly, I look for the choices that drummer made in different parts of the song. Why play that bass drum pattern? What instrument does that line up with? Why play a fill here or choose a certain snare drum sound? All these choices and information get logged away so that when I'm making music, when I'm recording or when I'm writing with a band, I can make more informed and better choices. I never used to be a big transcriber until I started doing YouTube lick lessons. And on top of being a great skill that I learned, transcribing loads and loads and loads of drummers had a massive impact on me as a player as well as a teacher. Most of the concepts and ideas that I show on this channel as well as on my website have come from that period of time where I was transcribing, learning, and expanding upon those licks. Now, the act of transcribing is just to take what another player has played and notate it. It could be something small like a little lick, or it could be something massive like an entire album. When I'm starting transcribing, I always start at the top and work my way down. So if it's a normal groove, I will start with the hi-hat pattern, work that out, write that in. Then I will add the ghost notes and the snare drum pattern, then the kick drum pattern, and then add any nuance like hi-hat accents, hi-hat lifts, any little buzzes or anything like that. If it's something a little bit more complex, maybe it's a lick or a more intricate groove, I will literally go left to right. Start with one note, what is it, where is it played, and what hand is playing it. And then I'll just move to the next one sequentially until I've completed that sequence. Eventually your ear will become faster and more tuned in, and you'll be able to pick up what's happening a lot quicker. It'll get to the stage where you actually don't need to transcribe, you can almost do it in your head. For the final tip today, I want to revisit an app that I'm absolutely loving at the moment, and that's Rhythm Bot by JP Bouvet. I featured it in this video, so go check that out. But the more I use it, the deeper I go, the more I find creative ways to use this tool. How I use it today is to strengthen the link between what's written on the page and the musical side of drumming. So we'll set the complexity to between 1 and 5. You just choose something that you find challenging, but not really freaking hard, and then set the bars to 2. Now we're going to sing with a da, the rhythm that is being played. Because the app will also play it back to you, you'll get instant feedback on how right or wrong you are. This is massively going to help with your sight reading, your musical creativity, and your rhythmic freedom. So thanks, JP. So there you have it. That is 5 different ways that you can practice the drums without actually being at the drums. Make sure you check out this video and this video for more practice tips. But until next time, happy drumming, and I will see you very soon. Take care.